Welcome back to Secret Base Trainer. Before we get into this state of the game, we'll give away these cards. If you're interested in winning, 3 things to do. Subscribe to Secret Base Trainer, like this video, and down in the comments below, leave one question for Alex Cook. He'll answer that on our next State of the Game. Welcome back to Secret Base Trainer for another episode of State of the Game with Alex Cook. On today's episode, we'll look forward to the 30th set, discuss some recent tourney results and new cards, and preview the upcoming Japanese set Abyss Eye. Turns out it's not just dark Pokemon now. We have fossils, ghosts, and Misty. Yeah, so welcome back, Alex. Thanks for hopping on. This is exciting.
Always fun to be here.
Yeah. I always seem to catch you, at least the last couple times, on Survivor Night. You're always watching.
Finale next week. My winner pick is going strong. I picked the winner, I think, a few episodes ago, and I'm feeling I'm going to be right. It's my wife's first time ever watching the show live after having binged every other season to catch up.
If you have been watching Survivor or are watching Survivor, let us know in the comments. Tell us who you think is going to win the current season as well. It's really hard to get things, but I'm going to open a few packs while we're talking. I got to get the itch. I got this pack box. I'm going to open those a little bit later. The last episode we did, you had some interesting points, and I wanted to follow up on some of those with you. First of all, the 30th anniversary set we have coming up at the end of this year. September, I think here in Japan at least, September 16th, we have the 30th anniversary special set. And just recently, news has been popping up that it's going to be a 20-pack box. I'm thinking that's pretty substantial, right? But I guess there's 6 cards per pack, and apparently it's only like a 30 card, this classics collection. It's one of the subsets. But you mentioned before you were hoping for some things for some of your retro decks. And I kind of want to ask specifically, what cards would you want to get out of this?
It's always an interesting dilemma, that one, because I think most retro heads would want to see a lot of trainer cards.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to be like, you see Pikarom here, and you're like, yeah, Pikarom, and Mew 3 I think is about to pop up, right? Mewtwo Mew tag team.
Yep.
Potentially. Those cards are expensive on their own, so if you want to go back and build Pikarom, it's $20 for Pikaroms, but you only need like 2 of them. But if you want to build like an entire couple formats, you need a bunch of junk arms, a bunch of Rockets transceivers, or Holland's transceivers, sorry. Like, you need a lot of these like staple trainer cards that are just impossible to find, and you need a bunch of them. And ordering online is gonna rack up your price with shipping costs as well. It's a really boring answer, but I'm always just like, junk arm, Pokemon collector, Oracle, that sort of thing. Like, it's all trainers that don't get printed.
Okay.
So, but in terms of Pokemon, I think Uxie's a big one.
Okay.
Uxie's awesome that they're printing, just because now in that 2010 retro is considered one of the greatest ones of all time, and you now can build almost an entire deck between this collection and the last one, because the last one gave us Luxchomp, and now we have Uxie to go with it. Claydol's also like in that format too, so we have a couple like format staples.
Okay.
So to answer your question in the longest way possible, give me Shaman EX from Roaring Skies, please.
Okay.
I would love to not have to spend $8 a pop for that.
Was it an important enough card at the time? Do you think that is something that could happen? Do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
I know they're not fully done showing everything yet.
Yeah.
So I think if they did do Shaman EX, that would be awesome. They did Tapu Lele GX. And so, they've done support bench-sitting Pokemon before, like Uxie as well. I would hope that Shaman EX gets to shine, but Darkrai Cresselia was a weird choice for the Legend piece. It's a really cool artwork, and I think that's why they picked it.
Yeah.
But competitively wise, it's like not even like it's a good enough Legend, but there's other Legends that I would have rather seen.
I can't tell you, I'm already nervous about trying to pick this setup. I don't know. It's gonna be chaos. Later in the episode, we're gonna be talking about Abyss Eye. I think it's May 22nd, the new Japanese set. I have already put in 40 lottery entries
Dang.
Across, it's probably like 20 different shops, from Toys R Us to local game shops. I think Team Rocket, Glory of Team Rocket last year was my record. I think I got up to 50. And I think I'll probably at this rate be lucky if I get 2 boxes out of all those lotteries. I'm trying to get in good with as many game shops as possible to see if they can hook me up with some 30th, because I just think it's going to be incredibly hard to get.
I agree. It'll be hard to get everywhere. I think a lot of the, not only in Japan, but you have your United States scalpers and everything that are gonna hold on to that, and it's gonna be a tricky set to get anywhere.
Yeah. The recent tournament results, if I recall correctly, was like you had Prague or LA. What are the most recent tournaments that have been going on?
Yeah, in terms of standard, Prague was 2.5 weeks ago. Okay. But LA was just this last weekend, and unsurprisingly, absolutely dominated by Dragapult.
Okay.
When the format first started, Dragapult was supposed to be like the deck, and Prague results were like, yeah, Dragapult's good, but there's all these other things that also are like decent. So I think there was a uptick in stuff like Crustal that would counter the Pult and this, that, and the other, but all the Dragapult players adapted, and they adapted insanely well. And if you pool all the Dragapult variants together, so you have like Pult Dusknor, Pult Dunsparce, Pult Chicken, Straight Pult Hammers, if you pull those all together, it made up 47% of the meta.
Ooh, wow.
Which, unseen before. Absolutely unseen. Some people would argue, like push his glasses up, they are different decks, but if you count them all as like the same main deck, it would be the highest representation of all time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Haven't seen, like, we've seen numbers like this before. 2016 Night March comes to mind, where you were at 44% for one tournament. Lugia in Silver Tempest format was right around 40% at one point. There was a Seattle Regionals in like 2018 that had a lot of Garbodor representation. Decks with Garbodor made up close to 40%. But right now, Dragapult is the deck. 50% of all decks. Wow. Dragapult.
Yeah, when we're doing like the 50th anniversary, and we're talking about what cards are going to be in like the 50th anniversary set, do you think that the Dragapult would be in there? Is it that good a card across the ages, or is it just in this moment in time in the competitive scene it's just good?
Interesting question. I think that you would get it in a 50th anniversary. You'd get it in an anniversary at some point. I think to answer that, you will get it. It gets firmly cemented itself in iconicness, and I think the reason it's dominating right now is just there's not a second best option. There just isn't. When you go back and you look at retro, like playing retro, you almost never play mid-season formats unless there was like a strong reason to play a mid-season format, like a non-Worlds format. Like 2011 Worlds is considered one of the worst Worlds formats, so people play 2011 Cities formats instead. Same with like 2018. That's the reason why people like Sumlot. There's a whole debate amongst retro people. So I don't think this format right now that we live in is ever going to be replayed ever, like ever. Rotation just happened, and Dragapult's everywhere. If you took Pult out and said Pult didn't exist anymore, like you would have a really, really, really even meta spread across the ways, because there's not even like a runner-up option.
Going to tournament results, one thing I wanted to ask you very quickly. Gia and I covered it. It must have been 2 or 3 weeks ago now. There was quite a lot of news coming out of the Orlando Regional Championships. There was an issue with the judge ruling for Pokemon Go, because it seems like, from what I could tell, one of the players is kind of a fan favorite, and a lot of people on both sides had very strong opinions about whether this was heavy-handed or whether it was right on the nose. I would ask you, through the ages, have there been a lot of judge issues like this happen pretty often?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There have been judge interventions plenty. Sure. I think the thing that sticks out about Orlando, the Pokemon Go thing specifically, is that it was in finals, and I think a lot of people thought there was an injustice. Like there was this player who had deservedly won, and the only reason he didn't get it was for something that didn't happen in the game. He didn't cheat. He didn't, anything like that. And I think that's why people think it's a little bit unjust and unfair. So to that extent, is there something that has happened in Pokemon's history that has also lined up with that? Yeah, there have been times, but I don't think it's to this extent. There have been people removed from venues for being unsportsmanlike. There have been people that have been banned from Pokemon for doing a lot of things outside of the game. But is it weird to see something happen not out of the game in a finals? Yeah, that's a little not okay. It'd be like if you were about to win the Super Bowl and you ran onto the field to celebrate with like 2 seconds left, and like, you know, whatever it was, and then the referee said, no, unsportsmanlike conduct, like, and then that somehow caused the other team to win. People would be losing their mind. So even though in our little small community it didn't impact as many, especially since Go isn't as big, you cost someone like real money.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Yeah. GM made a good point. He was saying that depending on the game, kind of the medium, what you can get away with is very different. Like football, we talk about it in different sports. Chess, he said, they're even more strict, very professional. He said, like Fortnite, conversely, they're standing on tables, they're flipping tables. It's just nuts. I was laughing. I was thinking, like, in the Venn diagram, there's no overlap between the scalpers and the players. But like, I thought, maybe let's make it like a turn the competitive. Let's make it scalpers only, because then it'll be super exciting to watch. You just have people throwing stuff and fighting, like a hockey match.
I mean, to your point. Like, I always tried to convince when I was running tabletop. I always can try to convince everyone that came into the store that was there as a collector. I was like, you need to learn how to play the game. Like, it'll make you a better collector. It'll make you like a better everything. And I sure hope that spawned at least a few people that are a little bit crazy when they're playing at their locals. I mean, yeah, because, like, you know, I get that it's a family product, and I get that you want to, like, have this, like, nice, clean image, which, like, they have always maintained, which, whatever. But, yeah, like, let's get some hype and excitement.
GM and I talked about that when we talked about the Orlando incident. I mean, at this point, you know, a lot of people are willing, whether it's what's happening with retail or any other issue, they're willing to kind of throw a bone to the Pokemon Company, but they're the best-selling media franchise of all time. For me, the buck always stops with them, and they have the biggest franchise. And like you said, the last 5 years have been ridiculous. It should be the massive spectacle. And like, I could understand, like, the kids divisions, it's very straight-laced and it's very respectful. But just Masters, just let Masters okay, kids, this. I don't want to say get out of the room, but for the Masters, I would love to see it be a little bit wilder, because I mean, what's happened with competitive, it seems like an injustice. Competitive should be something that people are excited about. It just seems very hushed and subdued. And GM said it on one hand, like with the 30th anniversary, they had these celebrities, over-the-top celebrities promoting things, but then competitive is just Pokemon doesn't really know what they're doing. They don't really. They're going in completely, like, two heads just ripping apart going different directions. And
like you said, the buck, like, when the buck stops, and the reason why is that competitive doesn't turn them a profit.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Right? Like, they're going to sell cards either way. They're going to sell cards to the scalpers. They're going to sell cards to the families. They're going to sell cards to the collectors, to shops, to everybody. So, like, they don't make money from regionals. They don't have an incentive to grow their competitive scene. They care enough about the competitive game to, like, keep people coming.
Sure.
And enough that they hire people to, like, test their game and make products and stuff. So while I think my earlier comment of, like, they don't make money from the competitive stuff, they could stop doing regionals, worlds, and, like, intercontinentals, and people would still play it.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. You have a lot more grassroots tournaments for sure, but, like, it's a fun enough game. It's got the history. People would play it on a local level, no matter what.
Talking about the rotation changes. Of course, you said Dragapult is kind of currently the king of the hill. Any other things going on post rotation, like any more prevalence of megas, or is it pretty much unchanged?
Yeah, I mean, the highest placing Mega Starmie was the 5th most played deck in Anaheim. It had a not great win percentage, and its conversion rate was terrible.
Okay.
Only 10% of people playing Starmie made day 2.
Wow.
Mega Lucario was seen. I know it was seen in kind of the juniors a little bit. Mega Lopunny was, like, the new hotness. I've been testing a Mega Lopunny, Mega Frostlass thing that's been, like, under the surface bubbling, but none of the top players thought it was good enough to bring to Anaheim. So No, not yet. And
Okay.
unfortunately, I think as long as Dragapult's around, it'll be gone in April. It's gonna be really hard for Megas to exist because Dragapult kind of eats Megas alive.
Oh, okay.
Like, just does. So
Okay. Alright.
this is the last year for it, but like it's still another year that we have to live through this.
Another thing I wanted to follow you up on from last State of the Game, Chaos Rising / Ninja Spinner. You had mentioned that there was a Beedrill EX that you said might be interesting. Any additional thoughts on that, or is it still too early?
Still a little bit early. I think people's heads are still spinning from the Dragapult madness of this last weekend.
Sure.
Pre-releases were happening in my local area,
Okay.
and everyone was looking for Beedrills.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll see what that direct impact happens. I mean, I don't remember when it comes to live. It's probably either this weekend or next. So we'll start to see some of the early online tournaments results start rolling in before the real results. But the problem with the real results is that next week is Indianapolis. 2 weeks.
Whoa, hey, check it out, got SR. Look at that.
Look at that.
This will probably go in my giveaway pile for later.
Sweet. Indianapolis is in 2 weeks, and the new set won't be legal for that, so we're going to get another round of the same format before NAIC rolls around.
Just like you had mentioned earlier, this is a really good point you made. I'm glad that you're saying that, echoing this. You know, if you're just a collector, that's fine, and you know, hopefully you're not a scalper. I'm not going to say don't watch if you're not a scalper, but hopefully you're long-term enjoying it. But if you are a collector, playing will, like you said, Alex, it will make you a better investor, and I think it enhances your enjoyment. So a couple channel viewers, thank you, we talked to, and I say, yeah, maybe if you don't have access to a play group or LGS is there, hop on and play. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. So
they're just giving away cards online. Like, it's like, play a few rounds and you'll have the cards needed for pretty much every deck.
Exactly. It's really cool. Have you ever played Pokemon? Oh, geez, I'm going on a run here. Wow. Okay. I did not weigh these packs, guys. Wow. Okay. I'm going on a run. That's good. Have you played Pokemon Pocket at all?
I played it on launch, and I played a first couple sets of it. I think it's a fun enough game, and I really enjoyed what it did for the game. Like, I got more people into it. Mm-hmm. I think the problem with it is that the game itself is fun enough. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to get cards.
Okay.
It's so hard to be like, I want to play whatever deck, mm-hmm. and like comparing online to Pocket is wild. Like, I can play whatever deck I want on Pokemon Online.
Sure.
Like, and I didn't have to really spend anything.
Yeah.
Whereas Pocket, it's like, no, I'm gonna have to spend a lot of money if I want to play whatever I want. So, and I think it kind of shows mm-hmm. something. Like, it's very interesting to me that they did Pokemon Go as a competitive medium. They did Pokken for a little bit, that Pokemon fighter game that came out.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything with Pocket. Like, I think that's kind of telling.
That's a good point, actually. Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's not meant for people that want to play competitively. No.
I never got into it. I just thought, I told my kids this as well. You know, it's a shame you shouldn't be having it's good to teach your kids about money, but you don't want kids to be looking and say, hey, I got a $50 card. But I told them, if you're going to play Pokemon, do the physical game. For, you know, in addition, humans, we have a connection to the tangible world, and things feel good in your hand, whether it's a vinyl record or a book. But also, long term, Pocket doesn't have any value. You're not going to be able to sell your account. If you're going to do Pokemon, might as well get the physical game, and you'll retain its value at the least, you know, down the road.
Mm-hmm. And I understand, like, paying for, like, games. Mm-hmm. Like, if you play a MMO, if you play anything that requires some sort of, like, subscription-based service, like, yeah, like, you're playing a video game and video games cost money. Like, I get that aspect of things, but there's no like, I'm buying Pokemon Pocket and I can play whatever I want to play. Right? I'm buying Pokemon Pocket, maybe.
Someone on our channel, he said, can't play it locally. The main game seems kind of hard. So I said, you know, maybe try Pocket. Maybe it'll just be an easier segue into the game. Where how different are the rules? I heard it's a little bit simpler. Is it that much different from real Pokemon?
It is.
Okay.
The big main differences are the number of prize cards and the size of the deck.
Okay.
It's only 20 cards and 3 prizes.
Okay.
And then it's a smaller bench. So like everything is just kind of half shrunk, like this sort of thing. It's smaller. The main difference is that there are no energy cards, and every turn you just get one free energy attachment.
Okay.
So that I've talked to the very few Pocket people that I've talked to, especially my students that have played it, go, yeah, I don't like the main game because like if you miss energy, it feels bad. And I'm like, yeah, like that's something we've all experienced, and it's called a card game.
Yep.
Like that's part of it. It's part of the game.
Yep.
So is it all that different? Like the base rules of like attacking, retreating, starting your turn, everything like that is like the same. It does definitely feel like a smaller, watered down version that you can play quicker.
Okay.
And that's like the ideal and the appeal of it. I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! That did something similar. Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Duel Masters, I think it's called.
Okay.
Where they did a watered down version of Yu-Gi-Oh! For your phone. And I think that's where Pokemon saw it. And they were like, that makes them money. We should do that.
Okay. I didn't even get the correlation until after it was long done, but apparently Pokemon Pocket had a big influence in card prices exploding as well. I didn't even notice that. Apparently it was a big catalyst for one of many reasons why we had an explosion, at least in Japan, for cards.
I can see that.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, this doesn't seem like the gym promo packs here in Japan ever really have a big impact. It seems like it's just another way for them to kind of get things that they need out. But the latest one, I believe it came out mid-April. The promo pack 4 out here in Japan. And of course, what was it in English? Is Delphox? Is the headline of the top right corner. 250 HP, stage 2. The first attack, 1 fire energy. Look at the top 9 cards of your deck and put as many Pokemon you find there as you like onto your bench. Then shuffle the others into your deck. And then the second attack, fire, and 2 of any other color. Eerie Glow, 200 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned and confused. What do you think about that? Is there anything viable for our Delphox fans?
The short answer is no.
No.
The long answer is that people within the community have said that Delphox is better than you think, and they're currently trying to make it into a thing.
Okay.
However, like it's not gonna happen. The interesting part is that the trick portal ability, the top 9 and everything, it's existed before, and actually I'm pretty sure it didn't rotate. Exists already.
Okay.
Tatsugiri.
Oh, all right.
Surging Spark H, still in, right? Like has the same effect. It's look at the top 10, grab any Pokemon you find there and put it on your bench.
Oh, okay.
Pluses and minuses. The Tatsugiri is a basic 160 HP Pokemon that's an EX. So like that's given your opponent 2 prizes, guaranteed every time. It's also 3 energies, and outside of like a crystal, whatever the tool is, like you can't that's annoying. Oh, hello.
Oh, hey, another SR. Wow. Okay.
Look at that.
Oh,
that's a cool looking
go
card.
for that EX.
The good things that Delphox has going for it is that it's 1 energy to attach, and it's kind of bulkier, so if it's hard to hit 350 damage in one shot. So like that's like what it has going for it. But the reality about all those cards that are just like I'm gonna get a bunch of Pokemon onto the field is like it's a very combo reliant deck for not a whole lot of payoff.
Okay.
Whereas if you're gonna play a stage 2 deck, Dragapult exists. So
all roads lead to Dragapult.
Yeah. Even if Dragapult didn't exist, we can talk about that world where it's like you're still come back to that same issue of what Pokemon are you trying to get onto the field, and how do you guarantee that? And there are ways to guarantee it, but like your deck is going to suffer in terms of consistency way before anything else.
Okay.
And so then how do you bring that to a large tournament and do it every single time? It's a really cool card, and I'm always a big fan of like, hey, let's cheat this Pokemon out and see what happens, and like these weird cool gimmicks. The deck building process with decks like that is just impossible.
Sounds like my Roaring Moon deck. I love you, and I'm only gonna play you, and I'm gonna be content with my 50% win rate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I will say Moon is better than Delphox.
Okay.
Let's not put these two in the same conversation. Moon is a good deck. Moon got second at Worlds. Like,
okay, I'll take that. Okay. The big thing, kind of on my mind, looking forward to the very near future, is Abyss Eye. And I was thinking, talking about Roaring Moon, Dark Pokemon. I'm not necessarily beholden to just dark Pokemon, but kind of you're bouncing off of that. I thought, okay, maybe there'll be something fun. And Darkrai, GM said, I don't know about this. I don't like. Legends ZA introduced a Mega Darkrai to this. It's like you put Darkrai's head on a blimp or something. He's got a little wispy tail, and GM said, I don't know if I like this. And I thought, cool, I'm down for this. Let's go. So I've been kind of excited, thinking, okay, we haven't had a proper, dark themed Pokemon set. Maybe a Turnamax, was it a Mugen Dyna back in Sword and Shield, and then I think back in Sun and Moon there was a dark set. Then the previous one was like 2012 or something. So I thought, cool, this is going to be another dark theme set. But then they put out.
Oh yeah.
Turns out it's not just dark Pokemon. There's a major ghost theme going on here as well. Right, Chandelure. Okay, so there's a Mega for this, and then you have some other ghosts like Marshadow. But then they have several other Pokemon. They have this ability. This Pokemon doesn't receive Aitino Wazaya Tokusei no Koka Ukene effects. We're talking like sleep, poison, confusion, right? It can't be affected by those special effects, right?
And also, very, very critically, Dragapult's attack where it drops damage counters is an effect.
You can't have him dropping damage on your bench then.
Which is huge because these Pokemon don't have a lot of HP. Okay.
And what's really interesting about this is not just that all these Pokemon have this ability. I don't remember what it is in English, but
Ghost Veil.
Ghost Veil. Okay, thank you. All right, but there are also some interesting effects that are happening with this. For example, the Yabasota, this one. If you have Pokemon in your trash with this ability, you have 6 or more. Then you can, on your opponent's Pokemon, you can throw 4 damage counters on each.
Yep.
I was, Alex, I don't know if you know, I'm a Japanese tea ceremony teacher. I've been studying Japanese tea ceremony for about 18 years. And I thought when we first had the first tea Pokemon cards, I thought, oh, this is great, I'm going to be able to use them. And they weren't really any good. And so I just kept going Roaring Moon. But I thought, this is interesting. And then on top of that, you have the female card this time, Muku in Japanese, and then you have the Chandelier. Seems like there's a lot of cohesion. You could put together a whole ghost kind of archetype deck out of this.
Yeah, really interesting. A lot of people are comparing it to that. We've seen stuff like this before, where like you do X number of damage for Night March Pokemon in your discard pile, for Mad Party Pokemon in your discard pile. And then there's like Lost Box decks where it's like you do effect if you have so many cards in the Lost Zone. So this effect is not necessarily anything new, which is promising. The Ghost Veil ability, also really good. Not being able to get sniped by Dragapult is just good. Critically though, this deck is not any of those. It's going to be really interesting to see how they get played. First and foremost. I think the having the supporter Gwen is what it is in English is really good. It's really awkward though because I think the best attacker is gonna the main feature is Spiritomb, which is if you have 13 or more in the discard with Ghost Veil, you choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and quadruple the number of damage counters on them. Ooh, which is kind of crazy, but when you start really picking apart the math, you would need to get 2 Sinistcha's attacks off to get 8 damage counters, and then that quadrupled is 320, which is enough for a Dragapult but is not enough for big megas. Okay. And you're having to go Sinistcha, Spiritomb for 2. There's a lot of moving pieces to it, and I don't think it's going to be fast and consistent enough. Okay. I could be wrong. A lot of people aren't overly hype on this right now in terms of the player base. We're not foaming at the mouths about this.
You're breaking my heart.
But I will say I will say I don't want to completely write it off because I don't think it is completely bad either. Okay. Poltergeist. Okay. Being 30 HP is. Wait, hold on. Affected by attacks. No, never mind. That's fine. I forgot Ghost Veil does prevent Monkey Dory because it's 30 HP and that's terrible for Monkey Dories. Sure. I think it's decent. We'll find out. Everyone's gonna play the crap out of it when it comes out to test to see if it's a real thing or not. But we'll have to see for sure. I think most notably from this is the Gwen supporter. I think Gwen is just a good card. It's actually a spiritual reprint of a card called Roxy. Roxy from Cosmic Eclipse. Poison Gym Leader. It's discard 2 Pokemon that aren't GX or EX. Draw 3 cards for each one you discarded.
Sun and Moon. Okay, cool.
So it's like literally the same exact thing. I think this card is good as like a 1 or 2 of in certain decks.
Okay.
So, and we need draw support right now. We don't have any draw support, which is why Dragapult's the best deck right now. The Mega Chandelure on its own is also fairly decent. Like, people have been talking about that, mainly because the Lampent has this attack that they've printed a few times where you attack with it and it says get 3 more Lampents and just put them on your bench. And so like that's interesting to set up the Chandelure, and the Chandelure is like not the worst.
Yeah.
So like, and the thing about it is it's Psychic type, and you just need a Clefairy on the bench, and you KO Dragapult. So like, maybe Chandelure is not that bad.
Okay.
But who knows? Like, there's a lot to we still have Ninja Spinner first.
Sure.
And then we'll have this. So we still need to see the impact of that before any of this comes out. I love speculating about newer cards, but like the meta could be completely different, and all of my stuff is like null and void by that point.
Sure. I think for now, until I know better, I might be doing something with this Abyss Eye. GM did say, I think he got his pre-orders in a Pokemon Center for Pitch Black, I think it's the English name, and it's a really sleek looking box. You have the ETB, it looks really good. So hopefully it'll be a pickup set after the last 2. Our Munikis Zero and Ninja Spinner, these 2 just really, beyond the gold cards like the Meowth and then the Greninjas, they were pretty quiet sets. It wasn't enough that we have ghosts. We also have, it turns out, fossils, and I think there are 2 Pokemon lines: fossils, the Tane, the basic, and then their evolutions in this. And there's also Fossil Quarry Stadium. Each player, once during their turn, from their decks, you can choose 2 fossil item cards, goods cards, and then you place them on your bench. And I think you've talked about it before, and other people have, the fossils just historically doesn't seem ever really taken off. Doesn't seem like we're talking about fossil archetypes or, world championships winning fossil decks. What do you think about this kind of stadium, and is there any viability for fossils going forward?
The stadium needs to be printed because, like you said, the one of the big problems with fossil Pokemon is that they evolve from a trainer card. Right? These fossils that you have to play down, which means 2 bad things happen. Bad thing number 1 is that none of your Pokemon searches these things.
Sure.
So your Pokepads, your Brocks, your Hildas, whatever it is, or Hildas couldn't search it anyway. But like, regardless, your Dons, they all can't find this fossil, so that stinks. And then since Badoo is so prevalent in the best deck in the format, you can't play them because they're item cards until they hit the bench, so you can't even play the Pokemon that you need to be down. So this thing being a stadium that gets both of the big problems out of the way of being able to search for things and play them under item lock is kind of huge. So then you go, okay, cool. This is like a good band-aid fix. Like, you just need a way to search a stadium. You play 4 stadiums, you play the antique fossils, you can get there. Cool. We have a little bit more consistency in this regard. So are the Bastiodon and the Rampardos like any good?
Okay.
Right?
Oh.
Because then you also have to see if those Pokemon are actually worth playing.
Okay.
That's the wild part about fossils, is that like you immediately write most of them off because you're like, yeah, you can't even play half the ways to get them out. Like, the engine sucks.
Okay.
The Rampardos and the Bastiodon coming out with this card have been garnishing a little bit of hype. The Bastiodon is not the worst because it prevents your active Pokemon from being hit by Pokemon that have 2 or less energy attached. So Dragapult, most notably. So like, that's like not the worst. The problem is that their fossil's only 60 HP, so if the fossil gets trickled by Dragapult, like, it's just over anyway. So will it be enough to get around that? Who knows? The Rampardos also kind of interesting in tandem with it, because if it's in the active, you can flip a coin, and if heads, you can discard an energy from your opponent's active. So like, the Rampardos with the Bastiodon isn't the worst, and apparently it's been seeing some success in Japan, like, early on. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But I also think that the the Tortuga is a very good card that will most likely find its way into some version of this. It does, for 1 energy, does 30 damage for each item card you're in our opponent's discard pile. And that attack was previously printed on the Garbodor that I mentioned way back at the start of this, that like dominated the Seattle regionals to the point where like almost every deck in the top 32 played it. Granted, that card had a lot more going for it for a lot of other reasons, but the fact that you can now cheat out this Tortuga that's actually not the worst is a interesting prospect. But again, it might be a little bit too early to call. I know some people are talking about it, and there might be some rumblings that it makes things good again, but we'll see.
If that's not enough, gotta admit, I'm a little bit disappointed they're slamming so much. I just want a dark Pokemon. They decided they're going to throw Misty in there as well. And people are saying, oh, well, let me introduce you to the most expensive card in the set.
Yeah, the SIR.
They're probably going to do a transfer. And I thought the Gwen was cool. Are we going to have 2 ladies battling it out here? Is that what's going on? I don't know. But why in the world would you throw in a Misty into this? I don't get it.
They apparently they're low on money and want people to buy more stuff. Who knows? Card's actually not the worst either. Okay. I think it'll have its day in the sun at some point in its life. Practically because it's a spiritual reprint of this card called Kiawe that did essentially the same thing, just grabbed 4 fire energies from your deck and attached them. Because we have Meowth to find this thing, it's just looking for the right partner. Like, this is a good enough card to like build something around. We don't have the Pokemon for it yet, but if we ever do, this card will see play.
We'll probably be doing some openings of that. I don't know what's going to happen. And the way sealed boxes are going, maybe it'll be live. On that note, well, GM sends his regards, Alex. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll talk again soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
SecretBaseTrainer.